The topic I chose is batteries. Beginning with a brief history on batteries, we have the voltaic pile in 1800, invented by Alessandro Volta. This was the first electric battery and uses copper and zinc plates with a cloth soaked in salt water between them. The next major iteration was the Daniell cell, invented by John Frederick Daniell in 1836. This improved upon the reliability of the voltaic pile. Up until now, all of these batteries were primary batteries, meaning once they are depleted, they cannot be recharged. The first rechargeable or secondary cell was invented in 1859 by Gaston Plante. This is a lead-acid battery and is still seen in many cars today. The next major iteration was the zinc-carbon cell, invented in 1876 by Carl Gassner. And this is a dry cell battery, which uses pastes instead of liquids, which allows it to be used in areas like flashlights where it could be jostled around. The successor to this was the alkaline battery, which I'm sure everyone is familiar with today. This was invented in 1899. After this, the lithium batteries were the next big breakthrough. They were introduced commercially in the 1970s and are in your phones, laptops, cars, etc. They have high electrical potential and are very lightweight. Now, I'm sure everyone's asking, what about the Baghdad battery? Well, this was actually largely debunked. Discovered in 1940, there was actual artifacts discovered 10 years prior, which show that this was just used to store scrolls and was not actually a battery. Now, how does a battery work? In its purest form, a battery stores chemical energy and converts it to electrical energy. When charged, a battery will have an excess of electrons in the anode. They will want to travel to the cathode to neutralize the charge, but will not be able to travel through the electrolyte. When a conductive material connects the anode to the cathode, electricity will flow through the material and power whatever is in between it. A primary battery is a one-way street, like your typical alkaline batteries. However, a secondary battery can reverse the flow of electrons to recharge itself simply by using another power source and running it through the other way. Now, as much as I want to talk about how green they are, they also have negative effects on the environment that I believe are important to note. When not properly disposed of, the chemicals within batteries can leak into the environment and contaminate groundwater. The lithium battery packs found in EVs are susceptible to something called thermal runaway. When one battery catches fire by either internal degradation or outside influence like a crash and causes other nearby cells to also catch fire. And all the toxins they release into the air are also very bad for the environment. Cobalt is added to the cathode of most lithium batteries to increase energy density and battery life. And there are legitimate humanitarian concerns in the mining of this resource, as well as concerns over the toxic nature of the element. So reducing this is good. Companies like Tesla are pushing to reduce this with their new 4680 cells. However, they have not fully done this yet. Now, there are a lot of positive impacts for batteries, such as most energy is generated in a just-in-time basis as far as our power grid, varying generation with demand. This can lead to problems with areas that have inconsistent generation or demand or natural disasters like recently in Texas or a few years ago in South Australia. Batteries can replace the traditional pumped hydro and stabilize fluctuations by either storing excess power or outputting stored power when needed. On that same topic, batteries are important when talking about the push for fully renewable power grids. Renewable energy is great, but it is also inconsistent. Solar only works for about half the day, wind is not always guaranteed, etc. Batteries will enable a grid based on renewable energy to operate at all hours without losing power. This is also a great spot for recycling lithium battery packs from EVs, as these old battery packs aren't great for electric vehicles and such, but are just fine for power grid stabilization. The next topic is high-density, lightweight battery technology is paramount in replacing internal combustion engines with EVs. I'm sure that's obvious. However, they can also replace larger vehicles like tractor trailers, planes, and cargo ships. Those are just a few, and it would greatly reduce the carbon footprint. Also, inexpensive battery technology combined with renewable power generation is the key to decentralized virtual power plants, which will free up a lot of land for nature preserves or sustainable farming or other uses of our land. Now, batteries have, without a doubt, become greener over time. The first big innovation with batteries that made them greener was the invention of the secondary cell, which simply means that it's rechargeable. This was the first, as I mentioned, first developed with Gaston Plante in the lead-acid battery, and has been improved upon since. Now, after the introduction of the lead-acid battery, the largest impact was innovation within battery life regarding charge cycles and material usage. These innovations are still being made today, allowing for less material to be used in batteries that last longer before they are useless in their use case. Now, availability. In one way or another, almost everybody has encountered a battery, and probably does so every day. Laptops, phones, gas cars, electric cars, watches, Bluetooth headphones, and even desktops with their CMOS batteries are just a couple that come to mind. The future is projected to have even more batteries in our day-to-day life. Even alkaline batteries that you may not come across are projected to grow to 10.7 billion US dollars in the market share by 2027. And Panasonic and Tesla are expanding production capabilities of their lithium batteries to numbers that we've never seen before. As far as innovation goes, there are still some key innovations that are waiting to be made before widespread adoption in certain areas, like aviation. Unlike traditional jet fuel powered planes, battery planes don't get lighter as the capacity drains, which greatly emphasizes the need for light and efficient batteries that can store a lot of electricity without weighing down the plane. This innovation would reduce pollution from an industry that desperately needs it. On the other end of the spectrum, grid storage could benefit from a cheaper battery cell with no emphasis on energy density or weight. More focus can be put on the longevity regarding charge cycles. This field doesn't require the same small footprint that cars do or weight that planes do. As long as it's cheap, like the near future liquid metal batteries can offer, it is great for grid storage. Another industry that desperately could use electrification is the marine shipping industry. While container ships can transport a lot of goods at once, they also burn some of the dirtiest fuel in the process and suffer from a lack of regulation. If the marine shipping industry was a country, it would be the 6th largest producer of greenhouse gases by country. The 15 largest shipping container ships alone, emit more nitrogen oxide and sulfur oxide than all of the world's cars combined. In order to electrify the shipping industry, significantly higher energy density batteries need to be produced that have little risk of thermal runaway and can fit in an area that does not greatly impact the ability to carry cargo. Alternatively, hybrid systems can also be implemented to reduce the impact that the marine shipping industry has while the necessary research is done. And here are my resources that I used to create this presentation.